Gunpoint is a stealth puzzle game that lets you rewire its levels to trick people. You play a freelance spy who takes jobs from his clients to break into high security buildings and steal sensitive data. Welcome to episode 5 of The 5 T's of Stealth, where we will be discussing Gunpoint. Once again, the 5 T's include tasks, terrain, tools, threats, and tension. These are what I consider to be the fundamentals of stealth gaming. In Gunpoint, you play as a freelance spy named Richard Conway. At the very start of the game, there is a murder. Selena Delgado is killed shortly after speaking to you on the phone and asking you to come to her office. This places you at the scene of the crime around the same time as the killing, which leads to the first set of missions and basically the tutorial. Melanie Rook is the CEO of Rook Firearms and Selena's boss. She is the first to hire Richard and sets him on the first set of missions to clear his name by wiping all of the security footage in 5 different locations. Basically, in Gunpoint, the mission structure is simple. You are going to infiltrate some facility and proceed to either hack a computer or camera or simply retrieve an object. As the game progresses, more clients will come to hire you and will in one way or another be tied to the murder of Selena Delgado, whether it's the chief of police, a falsely accused coworker, or even a rival company. With all the variety in clients, there will be times when missions contradict one another and you will be forced to pick a side. Meaning this game does give the player some very impactful decisions to make, which will impact the story. Before each mission, you will have a briefing with each client. These interactions will allow you to select certain dialogue options, and it's genuinely pretty funny most of the time. I really like the dialogue, and it's a nice cherry on top for a pretty solid story. Visually, most of the levels felt more or less the same, but that's not fully indicative of this game's terrain. Each level brought a new layout that would require a different strategy to traverse, mostly being dependent on the devices scattered throughout the floors and the different connections you could make with electronic devices throughout. Another key component was the number and location of the secure circuits, which we will dive more into a bit later. Even just getting started on a new level could be majorly unique each and every time thanks to the different layouts. Different openings to levels included walking through the front door, smashing glass, or even rewiring different devices to open a door or a hatch. With so many different ways to move through each level, the game really keeps you on your toes and never starts to feel repetitive. There are 2 main components present throughout Gunpoint. The first, Bullfrog Hyper Trousers. These trousers have a few benefits. No fall damage, super jumps that can take down guards and shatter glass, and the ability to climb on walls and ceilings. To take down guards, you simply jump on them to pin them. This then allows you to punch them to KO them. At this point, you can just start spamming punches on a guard and really beat them to death. I believe the threshold for a kill was 10 punches. However, if you continue on, the game will spout some funny dialogue. The jump strength and the charging time can both be upgraded as you progress. Secondly, the crosslink. This allows the player to rewire electronic devices, but what exactly does that mean? It's really quite simple. A light switch can be removed from the light and applied to a door, so now when someone hits the switch, they will open a door rather than turning on or off the lights. That's a very simple example, but there's a pretty decent amount of things you can rewire once you first unlock this ability. This includes doors, lights, elevators, motion sensors, and even sockets, which can be used to knock out guards. Basically, Richard Conway is a freelance spy, but he's also very much a hacker. After those 2 main abilities, most newer abilities just take things a bit further. The wire jack allows you to rewire secure circuits. Throughout Gunpoint, there will be electronic devices you cannot hack. This is because of secure circuits, which is where the wire jack comes into play. You have to find the secure circuit and then hack it to open up all previously unusable devices. Some levels will have multiple secure circuits requiring you to repeat that process. Once again, when these secure circuits are hacked, you gain access to the electronic devices connected to it. However, this does not mean you can connect any devices together. Once the wire jack is used, the electronic devices that are affected will have a different color outline. You can only match devices of the same color. Moving on, let's rapid fire a bit. Drop shot. This allows you to land silently from any height. Death fluke causes some incoming bullets to miss. Hush crackers muffle the sound of breaking glass. Prank spasm. Connect power sockets to other devices to transfer the shock. In other words, booby trap electronics. Long shot allows you to rewire enemy guns. This basically means if you hack a guard's gun and they try to shoot you, it will fail and instead set off whichever device you connected it to. It basically becomes a switch. However, they will fix their own gun once they notice it has been hacked. Resolver. This is just a gun. You can use it to shoot and kill guards, or you can just point the gun at them and they will not shoot and instead slowly back away as you approach them. If you get too close, they will still fire. Be careful, as shooting the gun does have consequences, which we will touch on more in threats. Last but not least, my GOAT, gate crashers. The gate crashers allow you to kick down doors. This is game changing. No longer do you have to spend time hacking to open up secure doors or coerce guards into doing it for you. Now you kick them down for faster infiltration and traversal. Some abilities will require batteries to use, which can be purchased or sold before each mission, and at times can be found throughout the map. We start with our basic enemies. Simple guards. Guards are pretty tough. They have pretty damn great detection range and are quick with actually detecting you. Once locked on, they will start blasting and it's a one-shot kill. However, they cannot see you in the dark unless you are very close. Next up, we encounter enforcers. These are basically bulky guards. Guards with armor. These enforcers cannot be pinned or bashed and therefore are much more difficult to maneuver around as you have limited options to eliminate this threat. You can, however, stagger them with a jump to create a temporary window. Their detection abilities are just as good as the basic guards and also cannot see in the dark. The final enemy type, professionals. The game says they dress in all black, just like in real life. Professionals will still shoot you if you point your gun at them. They do not care. Professionals can also see in the dark, making it very important to block off their line of sight whenever they are encountered. They can be taken down just like basic guards. There is also the spy who actually committed the murder at the start of the game, who you will encounter only once. Not exactly an enemy type, more of a person of interest. There is one other enemy type that you may encounter, but only if certain conditions are met. Personally, they weren't much of a threat for me, but they need to be mentioned nonetheless. If you shoot your gun during a mission, a timer will start. Once that timer hits 0, a sniper will be deployed at the exit of each level, making them very hard to avoid. I only encountered them a few times as I pretty much completely avoided the gun. I'm not actually certain if you are able to shoot the sniper. If a sniper spawned, I died without fail. I would open the door to head to the exit and immediately get shot. This was almost only in the tutorial level for the gun, aside from maybe once or twice. There are also alarms present on some maps, but they can pretty easily be avoided or just hacked to disconnect. Aside from the actual enemies, there is one other major threat: puzzles. This is tied directly to the level design, and I mentioned it earlier, but figuring out the optimal infiltration method can be difficult. Some of these levels make it rather hard for you to move around, and I like that. You have to use your brain not only to avoid the enemies that'll one-tap you and make you start over, but also constantly be deciphering the level layout and the required device connections you need to make in order to complete the mission. Gunpoint is a pretty damn tense game. Anytime a game sets you up to die so quickly and easily, while forcing you to restart, you have no choice but to be cautious and calculating. Basically, even a minor screw-up equals a restart, and that is the type of stealth that has begun to really resonate with me. It genuinely took some time, especially on the hard levels, to find the optimal setup to push through buildings and complete missions. If you try to rush it, chances are you'll be restarting quite a bit. There's also the puzzle side of things. I love me a good puzzle game, and this game is no slouch. The hacking mechanics present are very simple to pull off, while also allowing for rather creative ways to take out guards and maneuver through buildings. Of course, to a certain extent, everyone will eventually have to unlock a certain door or find the secure circuits, but there is still plenty of room for you to solve things your own way. It is extremely gratifying to orchestrate unique kills or weird ways of throwing off the guards, and I love trying to only interact with guards through hacking, as that's the strongest aspect of this game. I love the addition of the enforcers. Enemy design that does not change the way you approach the game is almost just for aesthetic. Obviously, that's an oversimplification, but when you just reskin an enemy and give them a different weapon, sometimes I can start to lose interest, unless there's a genuine plot reason for what's going on. Here, however, the enforcers 100% destroy the way you've been approaching the game. No more sneaking up on a guard and quickly eliminating them. No. You have to be more creative. I will say, replaying the game once everything is unlocked makes things much simpler. Surprise, right? I'm very glad the Gate Crashers, the upgrade that allows you to kick down doors, takes so long to unlock. It's basically just a reward for beating the game. So while it is very strong and arguably overpowered, it's basically a non-factor unless you want to replay some levels, and even then you're still getting one-tapped, so don't get too overconfident. Gunpoint is a great mix of stealth and puzzle game that never feels like it sacrifices one for the other. This game is fundamentally a mix of the two, and it stands on that business throughout. Gunpoint is absolutely a great game, and I 100% recommend it for any stealth enthusiast.